What's up, Mafia? Week 3 of Eagles training camp just wrapped up, and I've got to be honest with you, this might be the wildest 4 days of camp so far. We had illegal footage leak out of a close practice that wasn't supposed to exist. We had a veteran finally explain why he'd been missing, and it had nothing to do with football. And we had a fight so bad it ended practice early, right before this team heads into contact with another franchise next week. This is everything we learned at Eagles training camp this week, and we're getting into all of it. So, let's get it mixing. Let's start with practice 9, and a moment that actually mattered on Monday had nothing to do with football. Lane Johnson, back for his second straight practice, finally explained his week-long absence. It was his parents' health, not an injury, and not a contract issue. He got emotional about it, saying it put things in perspective heading into what he's calling his final season.
I mean, as you get older, things change in your life, priorities, your children get older, parents get older, and so, just puts things into perspective. So, looking like, this is probably potentially going to be my last year, just because I am getting to that point of those priorities, away from football are starting to merge. Not that I don't enjoy, I love everything about this game and preparing for it, but that's kind of where I'm at in my career.
Prayers up for Lane Johnson and his family. It's going to be sad to see him go, but he definitely does deserve his retirement. The biggest winner of practice 9 has to be Darius Cooper, hands down. Multiple reporters called him the top performer on the entire field, with multiple catches across 3 periods, beating Tariq Woolen and Michael Carter on a go ball. People are saying he's the wide receiver 3 on this roster, and right behind him, the other winner has to be Markel Bell, because of illegal footage actually leaked from the closed practice, and it showed exactly what beat writers kept saying. Markel Bell was anchoring the right side of that line with ease, then getting bragged on afterwards by Lane Johnson himself, who called him the best rookie he's ever been around. On the other end, Eli Stowers caught a touchdown off of a busted coverage, then had the ball ripped out of his hands by Michael Carter, in a one-on-one right after that. And this was the day of the first camp fight of the summer. Tyler Steen and Ty Robinson got tangled up before getting separated. To me, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of fighting Ty Robinson. He's not a lock to make this team, and showing that he's fired up is actually a good sign. Now on to injury updates. Devontae Smith and Mekhi Lemon remain out. Johnny Wilson sat out with a knee injury. Britton Covey returned from his hamstring scare. And Cam Jurgens was back after 2 early exits last week. On to position battles. Fred Johnson versus Markel Bell at swing tackle. Right now, it's Markel Bell's job, but it's also his job to lose. The stock is up for Darius Cooper, who looks like he may be the new wide receiver 3. For Markel Bell, showing that he's Lane Johnson's predecessor. For Willie Lampkins, showing that he's more than capable of starting. And Joshua Weru, who's showing that he's actually further ahead than most people expected. And the stock is down for Eli Stowers and Johnny Wilson. Going forward, this roster is getting sharper by the day, and Markel Bell is no longer a camp story. He's shown that he's actually a starting caliber tackle. Now let's get into practice 10, Tuesday, and the biggest story isn't the player. It's a fix. The coaching staff is visibly speeding up how fast the offense gets to the line, after ranking dead last in the league last year in time left on the play clock before the snap. Hollywood Brown said forcing the defense to guess is a real weapon now. And honestly, this might be the most important change that nobody is talking about.
It's very important. Just to line up fast, get an edge on the defense, and ultimately, we know what we got, and coming out, executing and starting fast is big.
What does that aid for the receiver?
Aid us good because, it's hard to get a beat on what we're doing. When we come to the line up, move quick. We could be running, we could be passing, but if everything looks the same, it's an advantage for us.
The biggest winner of the day, and it starts with a guy who's quietly having a great camp, has to be Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore connected with Jalen Hurts on a 45 to 50-yard touchdown off of a double move that left Drew Makuba behind. This was all a part of an efficient 9 for 12 and 1 touchdown afternoon. And you've got to circle back to Darius Cooper again, because ESPN compared his hands to a receiver this team just traded away. And Jalen Hurts himself gave a glowing answer when asked about him after practice.
He's pretty good already, and I think he's going to continue to grow. I can make you a promise and say that he's going to be XYZ. I just think he's going to continue to develop into the player he's shown he is, and he has very strong hands. He's always been really good at the deep ball from his time back in small college Texas ball. And he's got a hunger and he's got a diligence about himself, and I think those are great competitive qualities, competitive traits that you can have.
The loser of the day is more of a dilemma than a disaster. With Moore and Cooper playing this well, there's a real question on how quickly Mekhi Lemon gets his old role back. Nobody's writing him off, but this receiver room has gotten deep enough that even a first-round pick has to earn his reps back. On to injury updates. Landon Dickerson took himself out briefly with a leg issue, but returned fine. Quinyon Mitchell left early and is not considered serious. And Vic Fangio confirmed Jonathan Jones will miss significant time, and Jonathan Grenard is still a couple weeks away. With position battles, Tanner McKee was first up with the twos at quarterback, and Michael Carter kept stacking first-team safety reps, drawing a physical pass breakup over Eli Stowers. The stock is up for Elijah Moore, Darius Cooper, Willie Lampkins, Cam Jerkins, AJ Epinesa, and Byron Young, who both got home for sacks of their own. The stock is down for nothing performance-related, just health and safety concerns. Going forward, this run game is quietly setting up everything this passing offense wants to do, and the receiver room is now too competitive for anybody to assume their old job is just sitting there waiting for them. Now, before we get into practice 11 to 12, I want to know where the Mafia stands. Are you more hyped about Darius Cooper drawing AJ Brown comparisons, or about this offense actually fixing the tempo problems that killed them all of last year? Because both had me excited for what we're going to see in this offense. Give me your opinion, drop it in the comment section, and let me know. Now on to practice 11, Wednesday. And I've got to open with a story that's actually bigger than football right now. The Eagles social media team posted a clip of Hurts throwing an interception at practice, and in about 24 hours it pulled in 7.5 million views. When the Bills posted a Josh Allen interception, it got 243,000 views. This fan base and this football team does not stop generating attention, whether it's good or bad. The biggest winner of the day, and honestly of this whole stretch, has got to be Quinyon Mitchell. Both of Jalen Hurts' interceptions in camp have gone to Quinyon Mitchell. And the read undercutting a route to Hollywood Brown looked exactly like the instinct that made him an All-Pro, before he even picked it off. Vic Fangio pointed out, he still doesn't have a regular season interception. Only 4 in the playoffs, which is wild on its own.
He still needs his first interception, of his career. He'll quickly remind you he's got 4 in the playoffs, but he's still a virgin in the regular season.
If this camp is any foresight, the draft is ending in 2026, and we should be seeing a lot more regular season interceptions real soon from Quinyon Mitchell. Right behind him is Willie Lampkins, who was called the team's secret weapon by Landon Dickerson himself. Jalen Carter even told a story about Lampkin calling him out for a rep as a rookie last year, and admitted the kid backed up everything he said.
He a dog, man. I've been telling him since day one that he a dog. I seen it last year when we had reps against him. Little story, his first day here, he called me out one-on-ones, and he actually gave me a little challenge. I'm like, it's not like dog in him, and it's really showing. The coaches are giving him his props, the players are seeing, and it's all on film.
Also standing out is Drew Kendall, named a sleeper by both Sean Mangan and Jordan Davis. Now a few matchups worth your attention. Markel Bell owned Joshua Werwu twice with no contest either time. AJ Epinesa beat Jordan Mailata around the edge for a sack. Byron Young picked up a quick safety on Andy Dalton, and Jake Elliott went 6 for 6. The stock is up for Quinyon Mitchell, Willie Lampkins, Jalen Carter, Drew Kendall, Markel Bell, AJ Epinesa, Byron Young, and Jake Elliott. The stock is down for Joshua Werwu and Michael Morris. Going forward, this defensive line trio with Byron Young rotating behind them might be the best interior rush this roster has seen in years, and the outside noise around his team just keeps getting louder. Now, finally, let's go to practice 12. Thursday, and this one ended early for a reason that you'd never love to see. Fred Johnson and Moro Ojomo got into it during 11-on-11s, not once, but twice on back-to-back plays. The first flare-up got broken up, but the coaching staff decided to let both guys stay in for the next rep instead of pulling them to cool down. And it only blew up worse the second time, with Ojomo going low at Johnson's legs in a way that could genuinely hurt someone. Coaches and security had to step in, and practice ended 13 minutes early. With joint practices against the Patriots coming up next week, that's a real coaching mistake worth watching. The biggest winner of the day is Mac McWilliams. With Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean both out, Mac McWilliams soaked up first-team reps at corner and in the slot, capping it off with a red zone pick on Jalen Hurts. The other winner is Dallas Goedert. Quiet most of camp, but coming up with a leaping touchdown grab over Drew Makuba in the red zone. And Dontavian Wicks kept his hot stretch going with another touchdown, this time beating Rick Willen right at the pylon. The losers here have to be Rick Willen, who got turned around badly on the Wicks score, and the passing game's drop problem, with Elijah Moore, Hollywood Brown, and Grant Cacatera all dropping catchable balls in the same practice. Now on to the injury update, and this report is starting to get long. Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean joined the list, along with Tariq Castro-Fields, Keyshawn James Newby, Jonathan Jones, Damian Pierce, and Cole Wisniewski. Devontae Smith and Mekhi Lemon missed their 7th straight practice. And Saquon Barkley tweaked his ankle late, but stuck around after to sign autographs, which is at least a positive sign. Now on to position battles. With the corner room banged up, Mac McWilliams is making a real case for a real role. The stock is up for Mac McWilliams, Dallas Goedert, and Dontavian Wicks. The stock is down for Tariq Woolen and all the drops across the board. Going forward, this roster is finding out who steps up when the receiver room, the corner room, and the offensive line all get tested at once, which is exactly the type of stress test you want before you go into training camp with another team. So, when you step back and look at all 4 practices together, here's what stands out to me. This wasn't a week about the guys we already knew were good. It was a week about the guys nobody was talking about in April, and about how quickly the good stuff and the ugly stuff can show up in the same handful of days. Darius Cooper went from fighting for a roster spot to drawing a comparison to a former Eagles wide receiver. Markel Bell went from a name on a draft card to a starting caliber tackle that a Super Bowl winning right tackle is bragging about. Willie Lampkins went from an undersized afterthought to a guy his own teammates are calling a secret weapon. And on the other side of it, a coaching staff let the fight escalate right before this team heads into a contact practice with another franchise. But that's exactly why training camp matters. It's not about who's supposed to be good. It's about who's actually showing up, who's taking the job, and who has some growing that they still need to do. And through 4 practices in week 3, this team looks deeper, more talented, and a little more combustible than anybody thought outside of this building. And it's all for the better of the team. Alright Mafia, that's everything we learned this week at Eagles training camp. If you want day-to-day breakdowns as they happen, remember to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single video. And drop a comment telling me which storyline has you the most locked in heading into Saturday's preseason opener. Every like, every hype, every comment helps this channel to grow, and I appreciate every single one of you for doing so. And once again, I've been Brother Shy, and this has been the Midnight Green Mafia.